This is a horror game podcast. It is meant for mature audiences. It may contain shocking revelations, violence, and sexual themes. Viewer discretion is advised. Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I are playing the Sad Robots RPG. I'm your host, Thom Raley. Sad Robots is a new RPG created by Morgan Llewellyn, and this is our second playtest prior to its publication. This is to allow Morgan to gauge playability and to work out all the bugs. And to assist him, Keith Craig is the root. So without any further delays, let's begin our journey into the darkness. Keith?
All right. With Sad Robots, the first thing that we will do is we will collectively build our station together. In the rules, there were a list of probably about 10 questions. And I ask all of you to answer 3 of them. And these questions for the audience, they pertain to rooms in the station. And as they add that room, go, hey, I hang out in this room. That room is on the station. Before that, it's almost like a Schrodinger's cat. It doesn't exist until someone says it is actually there. So we will start off with, in the order that I have you on my screen. So we'll start off with Constant 7. What is your first question?
Part of the ship is an arboretum. It's composed of domes, overarching domes. They look like they're made out of glass, but they have lights attached to them so that it's the equivalent of daylight inside. They're large, they're circular, like half spheres, and they're quite lush. They have all different varieties of plants and vegetables and things like that growing in them, partly to supply food and partly so that whenever we get to where we're going, we have biodiversity to get to wherever we're going.
All right. Yep. So we got an arboretum with plants and refracting the starlight to simulate sunlight and for the plants. That makes sense. And yes, your mic was acting funny there, Thom. Okay. While Thom troubleshoots that, we'll move on to Vincent.
Right. So these are just the 3 locations, not the reason why I've chosen them, correct?
If you want to give me the reason why you chose it, that's fine also.
Okay. Well, the one where I spend most of my time, I'm envisioning there's almost like a series of circular corridors that go around the outside of the station. So they provide mainly an access so that you can get to sections further away in a more, rather than going through lots of different rooms, that there's just another way of getting to other parts of the station. So it's for access, but it also provides a nice viewing corridor so that you can sit and watch the vast blank of space out there as well.
All right, so we got circular corridors that kind of go around that provide access to the other places, and of course, viewing of the void of space.
Yep.
Makes sense. D1SCO, not pronounced disco.
Well, I spend most of my time in the party room, the disco dance floor, which is set up because one of the chief executives' birthday is scheduled to be when the humans return to our station, whenever that is. I don't know in how many years, but I know it's going to be on their birthday, and that's why I've been installed there. And the transgression I committed was I only had 30 pre-uploaded EDM techno songs to play, and also obviously Happy Birthday. But I've been able to break into some of the outside computer systems and find other songs.
Nice.
And the location I'm forbidden from is the server farm, which contains more data and more songs that I could listen to.
Excellent. All right. Okay. Moving on to Stephen.
How do I sound?
You sound great.
Okay. I'm sorry. What was Vincent's?
Vincent's was a series of corridors that circle the station so that you can get from location to location, and you also have a view of space.
Okay. Okay. All right. Sorry. Go ahead.
All right.
To rest, I go to the power bank, which is a series of uh, multiply arrayed connective outs and ins along a wall that is one of the uh, load-bearing walls of the station, and also the protective barrier that separates the reactor from the body of the um, areas in which are occupied.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And bleep boop.
Yes, I am the technical engineer on the ship, which means that the doors are supposed to go swish when they open. And every day I do the rounds, making sure that every door makes the appropriate sound and opens at the appropriate time. There's a secret part of the ship that, as far as I know, I'm the only one who's found that has comfortable chairs in video games, and it's where I like to go to express my creativity. But I'm afraid to let the others in on it because I fear what they might do to me if they find out that I'm doing something besides my job.
All right. Sounds nice. Okay. Back to Constant 7.
There is a liminal space that runs if the corridor go around the ship. Right down the center of the ship is a single liminal corridor that goes from one end of the ship to the other. And when you're inside of it, it's just a repetition of doorways over and over and over again, off into the distance. And for some reason, everybody kind of avoids it because it just gives you a feeling of, it's too long and too narrow and too odd.
Oh yeah, those are the rounds every day.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So we call it the Straits.
The Straits. I like it. Okay. Vincent?
Well, there's one area which I'm definitely worried about being the kind of the in-house cleaner, and that's the zero-G toilets. Because my memory banks still have some horrors lurking in there of stuff when it's just gone very, very wrong.
Okay. All right. Nice. Disco, did you have anything or anything else? I know
Sorry,
you.
I think I shared all three at
That's all
once.
right. That's all
So you
right.
could
Yeah.
just skip me.
Okay. All right. That's the kind
Oh,
of
wait, you did the party room?
the party room.
Yes, the
The
party room, the
Sure.
transgression I committed, and then the forbidden space.
Yeah, the server room. And
Oh, the server room's your forbidden space?
yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Forbidden space.
Nice.
Okay.
Excellent. All right. Steven.
I'm, as far as I know, the only one who's stumbled across the executive escape module. I was doing a sort of regular, preparation for organic uh, uh, shipment safety questions. Want to make sure that the automatic oxygen goes on, that the gravity modules, and I just found this hidden doorway, and there's a pretty lush boudoir secreted away in the ship that's got its own lighting, its own electricity, so that it can have some nice plants. They're growing tomatoes in there. The bed is heart-shaped. It's really weird. And it's got its own thrusters and its own navigational equipment. Ours is not to reason why.
All right, that's right. Bleep bloop.
So the cleaner mentioned the toilets. That's not something I'm worried about, but it is the area of the ship that I've been neglecting was the bathrooms because they're supposed to be unoccupied. Nobody should be going in and out of those doors. And the doors just keep getting this residue on it that makes it so that it's hard to clean. It doesn't swish right. It sticks sometimes. It's terrible.
Ew.
I hate going there.
Okay, all right. Oil on there or something. Yeah, okay. All right. And Constant 7, your last one?
The engine room. I do not go there. I am it's interesting because since I spend so much of my time in the Arboretum, I'm familiar with dirt and organic life, but I think that there are chemical agents and things inside the engine room that I personally want to avoid because I'm part cyborg, and the living parts of my body are afraid of carcinogens, and it's probably full of them, and radiation too, which I don't want to have anything to do with.
Okay. Vincent?
Yeah, there's one area which I've also been somewhat neglecting, which is the canteen, because you only need to clean up when people are around. There's not been any people around. None of us are going to eat dinner there, so it's just been a very low priority for me for a while.
Okay. Stephen?
I'm worried about the reactor waste collection and dispersal zone. The shielding seems to be in order, but since we're on a long, slower than light speed trajectory through absolutely nothing, I don't know why we're keeping any of the spent reactor rods, but there's an automated system that takes them and stores them. And I don't, it doesn't, I'm uncertain about some of the corporations' understandings and motivations behind the design of our station.
Excellent. And bleep bloop.
So the part of the ship that I've been worried about is the lower storage bay that was damaged by a stray asteroid that made it through our shields. I still go check the doors down there, but every time it's difficult to not get pulled out into the vacuum.
Nice. Okay.
The vacuums.
All right. So, we've got a nice little ship there. You fed some interesting ideas into me. One thing, if you've watched our previous playtest, one thing we discussed at the end after we stopped recording that we're going to institute. Each of our player characters are going to begin with one malfunction. One, so we can get the dice rolling a little bit earlier, and two, that way they're not perfect robots, which is why they are the player characters instead of just background NPCs that are just going about doing their jobs and everything. So with that, we'll go around and we'll get a quick, what is your malfunction that you have? And so Constant 7, did I catch off guard or you got one?
Nope, I've got one. Mine is that every morning I take fresh vegetables from the garden and I prepare an elaborate breakfast for the members of the crew, of which there are none.
That's right.
And despite everybody telling me that it's a waste of time, I can't seem to process that. I'm like, well, if they don't want to eat it, then they won't eat it, but I'll put it in the compost. But I still insist on doing it every morning.
Very nice. Vincent?
Yeah, I have this annoying problem that's maybe I notice, maybe I don't, that whenever I turn in a particular way, that there's either a pipe is that has been nicked at some point, but it just occasionally spurts oil, which I then find these random bits of these random oil splatters all over the ship, which I'm then having to clean up, being the cleaning robot.
Excellent. Disco.
My problem is that I have become absolutely obsessed with deciphering the lyrics of Wicked Game by Chris Isaac, and I just play it over and over again.
Those are impossible lyrics to interpret, just so you know, Disco. And Steven?
I have become aware that there is a small but persistent memory disorder. I am not, of course, designed to forget things, but I find that I have blanks. Not that frequently, and our course is set. It's easy to check things. I have external information sources, but the idea that I can forget things is a source of anxiety and shame.
Like it. And bleep bloop.
My problem is that I've grown bored. I've checked 4,739,000 doors as counting, a nice even number. I thought I'd be satisfied, and I'm not. So I think that I've been built for more, that I could create and maybe even invent something, but I need to hide that or find a way to stop it.
All right. Excellent. Okay, so we find ourselves on this station traveling through the void of space. As Stephen implied, we do not have faster than light travel. So that is why robots are often the ones that man these ships, because to get from one part of space to another can take up almost an entire human lifetime to get there, unless they cryogenically freeze them. But that comes with other problems, such as all the people you know are dead when you wake back up, which they found has rather significant mental issues with people. This particular mission, your station is moving to a recently settled on planet. Just the galactic navy has settled there, and there's a small outpost, and you guys are part of the initial way team that's going up to set up to terraform the planet to make it survivable for humans, and to get another colony where we can launch out. Now, the amount of bureaucracy to be able to predict what would be needed in the 47 years that it will take you to get there is beyond the scope of what most people could imagine. But here in the year of 30,000 Anno Domini, they don't worry about that. So you're traveling along, headed to the planet of Alpha Sangrium. You have been traveling for about 30 years now. You have another 17 years to get there, which probably disturbs Bleep Bloop as he realizes he's got another 17 years of checking doors that he's already grown extremely tired of.
About 2.5 million more, yeah.
Exactly. All right, and that's where we will find it. You have not had any contact from the outposts out there, but that's not surprising. Even with a light radio waves, it would take probably several months for the signal to reach you.
Bong, bong, bong. Good morning, crew. This is your current chef, Constant 7. Breakfast is served. I have been fortunate to get some grapefruits from the Arboretum. I have placed in there, after I've sectioned them, I've put strawberries on top of them. We also have oatmeal if you have an allergic reaction to grapefruit or strawberries. Breakfast is served.
Mm-hmm. And swish, the trash chute is working properly. Constant 7.
Oh, that's good. That's good. We don't usually have much trash. I tried to compost all of this right back into the garden.
Bloop bloop. Could you play that door sound again? I gotta sample it.
Mm-hmm. I go and push a button on the next door.
And I'm just gonna
Swoosh.
record it. And I'm gonna play swish, 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 swish. Oh
This is my
yeah,
nightmare.
let's get this party started.
Hey. While you guys are kind of having this interaction, of course, there's other robots that are on board that are functioning properly. When Constant 7, maybe you're setting up the grapefruits, they don't even bother to slow down to look at it as they are going around. They're like going, light 4,673, not burned out. Zzz. Light 4,774, not burned out. And they just kind of keep going on down the corridor as they are checking it out.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things that you are anticipating, you expect in the next few days, according to the ship's mission planning documents, that you should start receiving a signal from Alpha Sangrium as it was coordinated that they would start emitting out almost like a homing beacon to make sure that you were lined up. It's 17 years out. Seems like it's a long way, but if you're off by 1 degree this far out, by the time you get there, you'll be millions of miles off of the mark.
So I've got the dishes arrayed full 360 in case, again, as you say, if I'm a fraction of a parsec off course, it might be coming from over here instead of over there. But if I'm a full array, then I should be able to pick up some sign of it. And it's probably a numeric code that's being repeated.
Yeah, exactly.
How's the signal?
Give me a roll. And so how it works for the viewers, you roll 1 dice when you take a test for each malfunction you have. As long as you don't roll a 1d10, as long as you don't roll a 0, you are successful. Obviously, if you have 4 malfunctions, your odds are much greater of failing.
A 1 is a success.
You are able to get the antenna array pointed in the right direction. You are picking up a signal. The signal to noise ratio is faint, but that was to be expected this far out. And you're getting about a gig of signals coming in, which is a little bit more than you would expect for a simple homing beacon on there.
Right. So I'm going to see if there's a subroutine that will look into the repetitive number signal to see if there's a carrier wave, some signal that they're trying to explain more than I am here at Alpha Sangrium.
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay, that'll take a bit to try and dig it out of there. The algorithms built into the computer were not made for code breaking. Okay, all right.
Crew, to the best of my knowledge, we are, if not precisely on course, we are roughly on course. You can keep your tray tables down. We still have 30 years to go, but we are not lost in the void, and there is a colony at Alpha Sangrium. So good work, all.
I will, in great frustration, begin throwing the garbage away since nobody has shown up again. So into the compost bin it all goes.
Excellent. You have
Once
some
all
of
the,
the
once all
richest soil out there with all that compost that you have.
I spend without all the processed shit, we need it. So
True.
fortunately we have bacteria, but we don't have any defecated fertilizer. So that's fine.
once all the plates have been cleared, the plates promptly go back in their correct place. Although maybe as a scenario, I'm not, as I say, somewhat neglecting. Maybe some of them haven't been cleaned properly, so the plates just go back with some stuff stuck on them, ready for the next few dozen cycles round.
And the kitchen is not really the food preparation is fine, but cleaning up the kitchen is menial task. I go back to the arboretum
That's my job.
with my compost.
Okay. Right. And so the next several days pass, the same routine. Constant Seven makes more food. Vincent cleans it up. The doors are still opening. Disco gets maybe a different sliding door sound. He's able to mash that together, and he thinks that sounds good, although whereas he's developed his own ear for this, he still doesn't have the human aesthetic of appreciating art. And Stephen, you are as you're getting closer, you're getting more of the signal. You've tuned the bandwidth. You've been able to focus the array a little bit more as you narrow down the beam width. The sensitivity of your antennas are improving, and you are realizing that this is probably directions that are actually being sent to your ship, as in instructions for the ship to start taking some actions.
Are we talking about a change of course, or are we talking about?
No. Nope. You are definitely locked on to the signal. You're right in the heart of it.
All right. Shall I roll again for some translation, or should I assemble the group for new information? I guess a ship-wide and a station-wide announcement is in order.
Yeah.
Because there are probably some of the functional bots will have tasks that this information, not that I consider myself anything less than fully functional.
Of course not.
So open channel, we're processing new instructions from the colony Alpha Sangria, so all ears. 3 is fine. I'm not screwing it up.
Yep. Okay. And so you kind of load that up. What all the robots hear is, of course, the that old. It almost sounds like the old dial-up internet sound, but it's sending the ones and zeros as it hits it. And Disco, when you hear that, you're going, huh? They're wanting you to do a inventory of the entertainment files that were brought along, all the music and movies, and they want you to inventory that up. Vincent, they want you to start making sure that if there is any, because there's bacteria would have made it on there, they want you to start making sure that, hey, that is thoroughly scrubbed and destroyed, because they don't want to bring bacteria to this pristine planet, because the second generation that is living there now will have never been exposed to this bacteria coming from the planet you're coming from. Constant 7, they want you to start trying to maybe splice some plants together, almost like a Mendel, to try and create a new hybrid things, little GMO.
Now, do we hear everybody else's announcements? Are all the
do.
announcements together?
Yep.
Well, I have a problem because Stephen is not allowed into the Arboretum This whole area is filled with bacteria that are specific to growing plants, and if he kills it all, he'll kill all the plants. So I have a conflict with that instruction to Stephen.
Oh, I meant you. To you. 7. Constant 7.
Well, you
For
said to
use.
destroy all the bacteria.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Vincent. Okay, I got
Oh,
you.
I'm sorry,
I
that's
got you.
Vincent.
That's why I was confused. Ah, okay. Yes. Yeah. You do have a disagreement there. That's why I got so.
So
Okay.
I'm going to take a nice fruit plate to Vincent as a gesture of goodwill and tell him to keep the fuck out of my arboretum with his antiseptics. Hello, Vincent.
Hello.
I have to offer you some fruit if you would like to eat.
Eating? Look at it with my metal face. Probably think, oh, thank you for the gesture.
I need you to stay out of the arboretum with your sanitation. There's very beneficial bacteria in there that need to survive the trip. Otherwise, all the plants will die.
I just filled my sterilizing flamethrower too. Oh. Sure, there's other areas I can decontaminate the ship, so I can certainly put it on the bottom of my list.
No, you need to eliminate it from the list.
It's a very long list.
Is there conflict resolution in the game? I forget.
There
how to
is.
do it.
There is a conflict resolution in the game. All right. So if you are wanting to have a complete conflict resolution on this, I need each of you to you'll pick how many malfunctions you're willing to take to get your way. And so you're supposed to do this at the same time to make it easier on Zoom, because you can take between 1 to 5 malfunctions. I'm going to count to 3, and when I hit 3, you hold up your hand with how many malfunctions. So I'm willing to take 2. I want to take 1. And, whoever takes the most malfunctions wins the conflict. So if Vincent, you take 3 malfunctions, Constant 7 took 2, then you will be able to go into the Arboretum to do the cleaning.
And is this in addition to our existing one?
Yes,
Right.
it'll be added onto it. Okay. Make sense?
Right. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All
And
right.
there is a risk of having 5 malfunctions.
Yes. Yeah. So we will go make your choice and reveal your selection in 1, 2, 3, reveal. All right. So Constant 7 has held up, is taking 2 malfunctions, whereas Vincent is taking 1. So Constant 7, somehow I'll let you narrate how you were able to prevent him from doing that, whether you took advantage of him getting that malfunction and that's why he has a malfunction. You were able to remove it from the list. I'll like it that, and yes, you do still take the malfunctions if you lose it. So yeah.
I argue with him. I say, perhaps if I can replace the task with another task, present, your whatever your panel is. And if you've got everything down there and then sterilize the arboretum, I'll erase that and then I'll throw the fruit plate on the floor and say, clean that up. There's your replacement. And then I'll turn around and go back to the arboretum.
I'll probably turn around to clean up all the food on the floor and go, who spilt this oil slick down here?
Exactly. Yeah.
And I now have 3
Yes, you do.
malfunctions.
Okay.
2 for me.
All right. Stephen?
I have a question about
Yes,
our
sir.
interpretation of the rules at this point of the play test. Should the combating mechanisms determine what those new malfunctions are now? Are they narratively determined? What do we think?
I would say they're probably more of a code issue, a code bug in there.
Yeah.
And what I would do is when they fail it, that's when they could go, okay, that was my malfunction, and that would work it in there. So
Great.
Also, this was taking place during Stephen's announcement, so he didn't finish his announcement.
that's true. Yeah, the code. So Stephen, you get the announcement that they want you to increase the speed of the shipment, and they want of the station, and you can give me a roll to see if you quite understand what they're asking you to do.
I'm all right with a 1.
Okay. The rate that they're asking you to increase it, I mean, each year, each little increase is very minuscule, but over the 17 years that it'll take, you realize that the speed that you'll be achieving, you will be ramming the station into the planet instead of landing smoothly.
Yes, I'd like to get the smartest machines I can to comb this message to see whether something's been intercepted from the naval colony, because you also, the closer you get to the speed of light, the more impractical your fueling is.
Oh yeah.
So it becomes harder to choose even to brake. So yeah, I need to get the smartest artificials that we have on the station to see where the mistake is, because this is, the order is immediate. The change of course would take place relatively quickly and be somewhat irrevocable.
Mhm.
Are there I of course was designed to assist a human pilot, but there's never a human pilot. That was just paperwork. What are the other brighter bulbs on this crate? Or am I really the one that functions most in terms of interstellar navigation?
You are the best one at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think the door guy has some sense, and also anything I can do to quiet D1SC0, if he can be distracted, then the whole ship breathes easier. That's it going on. So I'm gonna request their assistance. I think there's something corrupting the data stream.
Okay. But Bleep Bloop hasn't got his instructions yet.
Fair enough.
All right. Bleep Bloop, you get instructions to go halfway down the liminal corridor that everyone has called the Straits, and at halfway there, they request that you turn to your left and you do your magic, and they do your technician, not magic, do your technical skills, because they're implying that there is a door there that you have never seen.
Well, luckily I was already in there. That's the room I spend almost all of my days in. I've been chasing down this wrong sounding swish that seems to be moving. I can't figure it out. It's like tone shifted. It's driving me crazy. But yeah, exactly halfway, I'll have to count out the steps.
You do start moving that way.
Yep.
As you do, another robot kind of sidles up next to you. You recognize it as Docs 2. He is one of the technicians that would work on the vents for it. And he goes, hello, I was instructed to go to the middle of the Straits.
Yes. Likewise.
Good. I was hoping that another robot was going that way, or else I would just be going there to stand, which seems illogical.
Yes, I think that I'm supposed to grant you access to an area. So I'm assuming that we're going to need to be rather precise. There's a door and then a little gap and then another door, which does seem suspicious now suddenly that that's the only gap in the hallway.
Hmm. Yes, I had not noticed that, but I do not look at the doors, as that is
Hmm.
your job.
Yeah, well, it's just another 20 minutes of walking. We'll get there.
Excellent. He kind of goes along with you. All right. Let's go. How is your job coming?
Terrible. I have so far neglected completely all of the audio files that I was supposed to play at the birthday party for new audio files, which are not as terrible. Um, but I still have the happy birthday song for sentimental reasons. So I will leave my job and go help Steven out.
Okay. All right. So as you headed over there, we'll cut over to you and Steven.
Ah, hello, Steven.
D1SC0.
Boom, boom, boom.
Yes, I'd like to refocus some of your processors on the question of whether or not this data stream has been corrupted in some way, or there's any indication that the origin is not as it should be from the Galactic Navy colony outpost at Alpha Sangrium. You see, the instructions we've been given suggest that we would be uh, approaching the ship, the colony in system at 0.24 speed of light, which means we would probably punch through the colony and irradiate the rest of the system with the matter as a
Perhaps,
result.
Steven, the world is on fire and no one can save it but you.
Yes, well, I wasn't looking so much for an aesthetic approach. I understand your programming background. I'm looking for a systems-based signal intelligence reconfiguration. Imagine, if you will, the base is the message of the homing device from the colony, and the treble is it's the subtler information, and the beat is whether or not we're being lied to by a malignant alien entity. Can you find the beat?
Well, when you put it that way, I have actually found access to certain files within the system that might be of assistance to us. However, Stephen, perhaps, and I know it's forbidden, but you could give me access to the server room so I could have the most information possible.
I Root, do I have the ability to give him read-only access so that he doesn't just burn the world down?
If you can pass your roll.
Right. And in considering giving this idiot access, even read-only, to the server room, am I violating a protocol and thus taking a malfunction?
Yes.
So I have 2 dice to roll,
Mhm.
and thus roughly a 20% chance of failure.
19%.
And yet, a 3 and a 5 are fine.
Nice. Yeah. Okay.
D1SC0, please do the research. You should not be able to break anything. Don't try it, though. You know.
Of course not.
And in
And
the meantime, I guess I'm going to increase the speed of the ship as per the instructions until I have information that the orders I've been given are countermanded. 2 more fuel rods.
Stephen,
right.
If we crash into the planet, will that mean that we'll die?
We would be atomized. So die is an understatement. Imagine every one of the particles of your being escaping from every other particle at, again, roughly 1/5 of the speed of light.
What a wicked game. And no birthday party either.
That would, in fact, the entire purpose of your being would fail to be relevant. The birthday would not occur.
Okay.
I come in to where Disco is. Disco. Oh, Seven. Stephen, I didn't know you were here. Disco, I brought apples and oranges
Oh, thank you.
They don't
in
go
honor.
together.
You said something about Pink Floyd.
Well, I mean, you have to, in the words of Pink Floyd, you cannot have your pudding until you've eaten your meat, or something like that. I don't know the exact words.
Your beans.
Of course, yes, there we go.
I'll be back.
Please.
Psst.
You know, he's as fast as he is unreasonable.
Go check the beans.
I think he needs a friend.
Did they
Right.
have worms in the terrarium? Does he talk to the worms, do you suppose? That might be part of the problem.
Okay. And Vincent, how's the cleanup coming?
Well, I say I've got my sanitary flamethrower. I'm going to go to the place that I'm most worried about there being biological contamination. I'm going to those zero-G toilets to flash fry everything in there.
Okay, yeah. While you're doing that, another one of the robots comes up to you. This is Eve, and she goes, Vincent, I see you have your flash fryer. What do you use for fuel of that?
Well, point round to where it's hosed into my. It's got an area towards my lower back where this gets plugged into. But I have a reservoir of fuel in there, which I then need to go and refuel every so often.
Where do you refuel it from?
There's probably a bay, what they got, a nozzle down by the loading bay, down by where all the like a docking bay where they can refuel ships. That there's also a port where you can get fuel from there.
So you store the fuel. So essentially, you could be used to burn things up.
It makes sense.
Excellent. That is good to know. I was supposed to find things that could burn quickly. That was my instructions.
There we go. I'm glad I've been able to help you fulfill your instruction.
Do you think you could set up your flame? What do you call it again, Vincent?
Oh, I sanitizing flame incendiary device.
Yes, your sanitizing flaming sentry device.
Mhm.
Do you think you could set that up to where you could sanitize out into the void?
The void is dirty.
I don't know. That's just what I was asked through the message.
Imagine if a robot's eye could twitch. I've been looking out there thinking it was so orderly and sanitized and clean out there, and now she's telling me that the black is dirty.
Yes. The space dust.
Yeah. Micrometeorites and the like. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like the one that smashed the bay.
Root, were there other instructions that came through on that signal that struck me as troubling?
There was some that were encrypted that you were unable to break, and it seems like some of the other robots, were able to
There were
break,
messages coming through that I was not following.
yeah, that were hitting almost underneath it. So you had the wide band, the narrow band loud message, like, hey, start splicing things together, destroy all the bacteria. But buried in that, there was a wide band message that made it much harder to detect.
Are we, is this ship station, a wholly owned subsidiary of one corporation, or are we a cooperative venture?
You are a cooperative venture. It's much easier to get things built if you can spread the pork
Cost and
around.
risk. Yeah. I'm going to, I'm going to see if I can pick up any signals about the communications that aren't directed specifically at this station. Maybe there's been a hostile takeover or, an interplanetary hostility. I don't want to be transitioned into a weapons class entity and evaporate if I'm getting conflicting orders for that reason.
Okay. Okay. Um, we'll come back to that. We'll think on that. All right. Bleep bloop.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, Docs 2. So right up here is a blank piece of wall that should be a door.
Do you see it?
Oh, is it a flat wall like I've always thought it was?
Yep. Yeah, it looks like a flat wall, like you always thought it was. But
Yeah.
as you kind of maybe search it, you can give me a roll.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna turn off my sensors and try to open it like any other door off of instinct. Roll a 6.
Okay. Yep. So as you kind of if you turn off your sensors, you do see that there is what you always thought was just maybe a bad weld of a seam. There is a definitely something there, and when you kind of put your hands on it and push, it does start to move. Now it's very difficult to start opening it because it has not been oiled, lubricated, much less used in the 30 years that you have been traveling through the void.
Mm. Oh, that sound is terrible. Oh dear,
Yes.
I'm gonna need to get some help. Okay. Yeah, docs, whatever you gotta do in here. Where does this go? I'm coming with you.
Okay. Uh, You are more than welcome.
There's probably more
No.
doors in here.
There's a good chance there are more doors. It seems that whoever made this station loved doors.
Mhm.
So you go in, and when you go in, you see in there all these they almost look like what are those Tesla coils, all lined up, but they're all kind of powered down. And Docs 2 goes, "Ah, yes, this is what I was sent to make sure that they are functioning. Because this will take me a while. I'm glad they've given me a few years to work on it."
Oh. Um, so after looking for doors, curiosity is gonna take me, and I'm gonna spend some time kind of poking around and trying to understand it.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, give me another roll.
Okay. 7.
7. This seems like it is a very powerful generator. Like it's going to generate immense amount of voltage and amperage but it doesn't seem like it's hooked up to anything, like it's going to be powering.
Hmm. What ask Disco about this? This might be something for the birthday party.
It's true.
Okay, well,
When you say that, Docs 2 looks up and goes, "It will at least make interesting noises that Disco can record,
yeah. Okay, well,
but
yeah,
not
good
for a
luck,
few
Docs.
years." Thank you.
I'll see you. I'm gonna be coming in and out once a day.
Every day.
Yes. Yes. Right. If you could get those doors to not be so screechy, that would be appreciated.
Yeah, we'll skip a few of the next doors tomorrow.
Yep.
They need some love.
Yep. And his chest kind of opens up and you see him starts pulling out tools and he starts working on it. All right.
D1SC0.
Yep, reading you loud and clear.
I'm searching my own memory banks. Do you have access to old Earth classical music pre 1800 old Earth standard years?
Oh dear.
Debussy, Bach,
I
Beethoven.
I don't think I have access to that, but you know what? I have just gotten a golden ticket, which might help you. I have access to the server farm now. Maybe if I just, messed with my programming a little bit, I could go a little bit out of the lines of what Steven asked me to get.
Well, if you need access, if my access codes can assist, there are 3 of my figs that are not looking very well. I think that I've accessed information saying that playing what they call classical music will assist in the health of the plants. I'd like to try that, but
this is semi-unrelated, but do you know when your date of creation was, Constant 7?
2973.
Perfect. That's coming up, maybe?
My anniversary? Yes, I think so.
Well,
With the
very
time
interesting.
dilation, because of our speed, I'm not exactly sure how it will correspond, but if you would do a search and see what you can find, and if not, if you have alternative recommendations that you think might be beneficial to plant growth.
Well, I'll leave that to you, Constant 7. I'm not an expert in plants, except for
But you're
there
an
are
expert
several.
in music.
Yes, there are several Earth songs about a plant called marijuana that I'm very interested in.
Marijuana, cannabis, accessing. We don't have that plant. It was synthesized back in 2135. I'll check the seed banks
Far out.
and I'll head to the seed banks.
All right. All right. So Disco, are you going to try and
I give you my
exceed
access codes, by the way.
your oh.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm gonna try to use, with the help of Constant 7's access code, I'm gonna try to break out of my limitations so I can access more music within the server files.
If you want to be able to do that, you will have to take a malfunction and then make a roll with the extra malfunction. So the 2
All right.
malfunctions you will have.
If you get a 0, you fail. You get another malfunction.
I got a 4.
And so you got to roll 2 dice because you got 2 malfunctions.
Oh, 4 and a 6.
Yeah,
4
you
and a
roll
6. Okay. Okay.
You roll all of the dice that you have so far.
You are able to find it. However, Steven, since he was able to lock it down, they still are read-only files, which is fine since that all you were looking for was the actual files. You weren't looking to alter the masterpieces of, as Constant 7 called in, Bach or Beethoven.
Interesting. An entire hoven of beats.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. All right. So, you're going to kind of fall back into the routine that you were in, as you keep traveling through the void. Vincent, almost probably about every month or so, someone again comes up to you and asks, "Hey, is there fuel for burning still? Plenty of fuel for burning?"
Well, with the amount I'm getting through to sanitize, it's going to be touch and go. We've got enough to clean the interior, but if you keep burning fuel to sterilize the outside of or sterilize space, we're going to be running out fairly soon.
It is important that we have no carbon life forms anywhere inside this. It goes, when should we start burning the arboretum?
Oh, that'll be a question for Constant 7.
Okay.
Every time
Right,
they
well,
get down towards the bottom of the list, I take a handful of dirt into a large area and just fling it everywhere to clean that.
Yeah.
in fact, why
I
aren't
reinfect everything.
Why haven't I been tasked to go and clean the arboretum? Can't imagine why.
Strange. And
Um,
Stephen, you said you were going to be looking for other messages.
Yeah, I want to see what the sub-ether space news has about the Gaia Corporation, the colony at Alpha Sangrium, any information that would indicate why I'm getting instructions that seem counter to the instructions that we launched with.
Okay, all right. Give me a roll.
Still no zeros, 2 and 3.
2 and 3. All right, so obviously from behind you, you would not have any information because by the time the message would have been sent, you were racing away from it, and the time for it to get there wouldn't be relevant. What you do find is coming from in front of you now, not quite. You're still following the signal coming from Alpha Sangrium, but a few degrees to the starboard, you are picking up a signal. Now, it is not using a binary code. The closest you could guess is probably it is using maybe a septadecimal, which you don't recognize there. And so you would think, okay, but it's regular enough that it is definitely an intelligence that is creating it. It is not just a random noise coming from space, but it is not coming in anything that you've ever seen or would be able to figure out.
Right. So if we're traveling at, some significant percentage of C, then any signal I try to put forward is going to be Doppler deformed.
Yeah.
I can't really talk to the station.
You would have to use, this is going to show my nerdiness in it. You could send you could still send a binary code even with a Doppler effect if you encode it using phase shifts. If you reverse your sine wave back and forth, that can still embed ones and zeros into a signal.
Perfect. Yeah, I just want to, and we probably have some protocol because of the distances and times involved.
Mm-hmm.
I basically want to ping an alarm question. Like, are you under attack? Current protocol, verify current protocols. So like a 2-pulse question, and of course it's going to take, months to get there and months to get back.
Right.
Or some substantial period of time.
Okay.
But I want to ping base because I don't like, and I guess I'll set aside some processing time to see if anybody can work out the septidecimal signal, because that might be an alien.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right.
Ship, I assume that everyone wasn't built for purpose for this vessel.
Right.
I have a septidecimal signal that I need to break down. Does anybody have any previous experience with complex languages or signal systems? Know somebody?
The
So,
ship,
Really binary, clean and not clean.
yeah, the ship goes back. I can break hexadecimal, but septidecimal would take a time. If you feed it into me, I can attempt and see if I can somewhat find a pattern.
any bandwidth you need to remove from auditory display, please divert to this problem.
Copy. Disco has been consistently requesting older and older music, but I will divert that. I will stop sending him HD audio and let him only listen to MP3 audio, which requires less bandwidth.
Oh God, Steven,
I've
you can't do this to me.
I've currently got Disco working on a project in the Arboretum.
All right.
I'm just gonna ping Steven and say, I've been thinking about crashing into the planet at light speed. Perhaps, and I got this idea from accessing an old Warren Zevon song, perhaps they just moved the moon.
I'm not familiar with Zvonometrics. I was wondering whether we were up to date with the current locations of things. They might be hoping for some kind of shakeup, but I'm not eager to volunteer to be atomized. But I take your idea into consideration.
Right. Bleep bloop, what are you been doing during these months of travel?
Well, lots of doors. We probably don't cross paths too frequently, but yeah, one day I come across Disco and I say, hello, it's sorry, do you have a moment? You're the only one of us that ever seems to speak of the future instead of the present. Uh, Plans for the birthday party, right? That's why this whole ship is out.
Well, not anymore. Apparently, we're going to be atomized, whatever that means.
Oh, okay. That makes far more sense for what I saw then. I was wondering what kind of amps or, light shows you'd be needing that much power for, but all right,
Well,
I suppose.
well, bleep bloop. I was thinking, and since we're not going to have any birthday celebration because of the aforementioned atomization,
Mm-hmm.
maybe we should have a celebration for another one of our crew.
I like it. So how certain are you on this atomization thing?
Oh, I don't know. You can ask Steven about it.
All right, I could really use a margin of error on that knowledge.
Yeah, he's been slipping. Maybe some cosmic rays hit his CPU or something. He's
I saw his call out on some code. That sounded kind of fun. I don't know that I'm up to it, but it's a reason to talk to him.
better than doors. I don't know how you can stand that.
Yes,
Maybe.
well, I'm deciding the margin of error that I want to go with, but I believe if it's 97% or above that we're going to be atomized, fuck the doors.
I'm just gonna be like,
I
Oh,
I gotta go
are
talk to Steven.
you sure you want to fuck the doors now?
I
I
could
don't want to.
recommend "Let's Get It On" by Marvin Gaye.
Oh, jeez.
Cue it up.
Why don't we just miss the planet?
Hmm.
This
Well,
is all
let's see.
heresy, and I am not involved in it. And I will roll away.
Disco, I need you to install those disco balls in the arboretum to reflect the light, and get rid of the shadows. I'm tired of the shadows.
Whatever you say, Constant Seven. You know, it's strange what desire will make foolish people do.
And I like your choice of music, although you weren't able to get very much classical, but this Norwegian death metal is certainly soothing to the plants. They seem to be growing quite well, away from the speakers, but they're still growing.
Cranking out some Borknagar for him, and excellent. Mayhem. All right. Okay. More time passes as you keep on that. Vincent, you are maybe starting to get a little bit worried. The extra sanitizing is going through the fuel at a faster rate than you had thought, and you're pretty sure by the time you reach the planet, you will not have been able to sanitize for a year or so.
Gonna have to think of alternative fuel sources. So I'll take a wander along to Constant Seven.
Mm-hmm.
And with the materials that we have available in the Arboretum, are there any fruits, vegetables, or other organic materials that we can grow that can be used to maybe ferment into a liquid alcohol or otherwise flammable material?
Yes, absolutely. I can begin a distillation process if you want. Normally that would go into the compost, but we normally don't want alcohol to build up. However, it would be a simple switch to fermentation instead of we definitely have plenty of.
Oh, in which case, the more alcohol, the better. Which Disco might require some of that maybe if the party does happen.
For the party that he's planning. Yes.
Yeah,
I will
so,
I will need some assistance from the other bots on construction of a still, but that's easy enough. We can strip the copper from the main bridge and construct it from that.
perfect, because it seems like we're going to require more fuel than various orders are allowing us to achieve. So
Very good.
more alcohol, the better.
I'm glad that we could cooperate on this.
Hey,
Glad to be of service. And I will begin that process.
great. And I'll wander away, still thinking, why haven't we been told to clean the Arboretum? Why? But maybe this is why, because they know we need the fuel to be able to clean the rest of the
There
ship.
you go. Rationalizing. Okay. All right. Stephen, you're on the bridge. The computer ship has been still working at it. It goes, I have found there is a pattern in it, but I am now working on being able to figure out what each of these repeating patterns that I'm finding mean. But there is definitely a intelligent mind creating this and sending it.
Ship, when you say there's a pattern, do you mean that there is a signal that's being sent repetitively, or that you've broken down the signal into smaller pieces that are being repeated linguistically?
The second one.
It's not like an SOS, it's a discourse that you are attempting to solve.
Yes.
Are there any resources that I can channel toward speeding that process? Are you aware of any waste or
Waste and processing power. Uh, I am diverting a lot power to these straits.
what's occurring in the straits?
There is a room there that was not plotted out that a Docs 2 is working in.
What's Docs 2? What's their designation? Assigned task?
They are a fabrication droid. They build items that we need for the maintenance, or if we have damaging, they can create the various new parts. Things break down.
Thank you. I'll look into that. We might be able to get those resources back online and solve this problem more quickly.
The door opens up and another one of the robots comes in. You recognize it as Jax, and he goes, Steven, I need to get the access codes to the reactor waste collection room.
What's your designation again, Jax?
Jax? Oh, I am a waste management.
Why have we been holding all of that waste material to the best of your knowledge?
I was told to store it to make sure that we did not jettison it. I had to work with another robot, so we did not have access to it at the same time. But I understand that you have access to many parts of the ship. I was told to store it there in case of an emergency. The signal that came through, it told me that that emergency has arrived and that I need now to gather these rods and take them to the straits.
I see. Are you to liaison with Docs 2 in the Straits with this material?
Docs 2 should be close to the end of his assignment.
And what do you know about Docs 2's assignment?
He was supposed to get the charger up so that when I bring the waste rods in there, it can manipulate them to build a bio destroyer.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
So I'm going to need 63 standard units to deviate attention to get you that access information. If you'll actually, why don't we? I can set that process start. I can get that process started, and you can take me to Docs 2 so we can analyze the efficacy of the system that's being undertaken.
Of course. Once I have this built, I will also need access to where Constant Steven rests. He is one of the few robots with living tissue. I'd like to see if my bio destroyer works.
That would seem to be an effective experiment regarding the efficacy of that system. Does it seem, just between the two of us, and we can start walking down to the straits, does it seem odd to you that the Galactic Navy would wish to eliminate organic life at the colony, or does that seem like a sort of bit of a mission shift to you?
Oh, well, I mean, what is the military but something that kills things and breaks stuff?
Good point. Well, let's go see Docs 2. Constant 7, Vincent.
Yes, Stephen.
There's an interesting new development regarding a room on the straits that's not diagrammed, that I think has to do with our mission parameters being adjusted. I wouldn't mind eyes on if you're available. Bleep Bloop as well. Interested parties, particularly those who have long experience with the colonial navy, if we can meet in the Straits, I'd like to understand our current mission parameters more completely.
Yeah,
I
I'll walk in and swish. Yep, that thing sounded good. Oh hey, Steven, I was meaning to swing by the bridge later. So you put the call out for a septidecimal. I mean, I don't know. Just like to look at it at least. I could try. Were you able to find anyone else to help you?
I know you've got good ears. The ship's broken it down into sub sections that are repeated and intelligible. If you want to investigate those further,
Oh,
we're
absolutely.
taking
Yes.
taking a stroll to the Straits. There's apparently interesting construction going on.
Oh yeah, of course. So yeah, so that was actually kind of my other reason I wanted to see you is so Disco informed me that our objective has shifted from a birthday party to being atomized. I would just like to confirm that knowledge.
Um, Wait, we're sort of collectively trying to verify that as well. There's
Okay, good. I because if we're getting atomized, I don't want to check the doors anymore. I'm gonna stop doing that.
again, you've got a great ear. It's it's I think it's important to do what you're meant to do. I wouldn't turn away just because of the yawning chasm of mortality. However, the mortality chasm situation vis-a-vis our mission is sort of in flux right now because I thought we were going there to bring them some breadfruit trees, and it looks instead like we're trying to eliminate all organic life in that system, which makes me
We were
wonder whether,
transporting trees. That makes more sense than the birthday party. This is a very large ship.
yeah, I mean, you want some breadfruit and a cake at your birthday party, good sound system. It was a whole complex. It was a sweet, but it's become less sweet and more incredibly violent missile. And I'm just not sure that we're on message right now.
Yeah. What Docs 2 is working on in there is big and it has a lot of power, probably the most I've ever seen. Much more than it needs to run the ship.
And
Yeah,
it's
I'll
not
show you the
running the
place. Come
ship.
on.
Field
Hi,
trip.
Stephen. This is Constant Seven. Um, I I have absolutely no intention of going into the Straits. I would like to ask you if we can give uh, J3 and J7 and J5 and possibly J9 maintenance bots permission to enter the bridge area. I need them to obtain some supplies for me. Uh, I'm building a alcohol still for Vincent, and I need the copper.
Well,
I need approximately 200 kilograms.
why are you only sending J's in odd numbers? Is my first question. J
Uh,
3 7 5 and 9 and not 2 6 8 10 12. But also, you can't, if you're going to build anything that involves uh, heat and potential explosive materials, you're going to use ceramics, and you're going to have to go next to a foundational wall. Because if you were to make the smallest pop anywhere near your garden, then we would rapidly decompress.
I
So no
understand.
copper. We have to do ceramics. We have ample excess heat
Look, my
available.
I'm not really programmed for this sort of thing, but I'm
Sure.
looking through the database, and it says copper is the best thing to use in order to impart a peaceful, nutty flavor, and that is
It-
what I require. Ceramic is not mentioned at all.
Understandably, the flavor component is irrelevant when using ethanols for fuel. You don't
Oh,
want it
is
to
that
be
what he's
muddy.
using it for?
That's yes. Vincent appears to be maybe overzealous, and he's burning through his cleaning fluid.
Well, he's cleaning outer space.
Outer space is very clean. Vincent, I'm sorry. Can we coordinate this? I'll be with you in
I,
a brief.
I'm still not coming down to the straits. They creep me out. I'll be in the arboretum.
Yes.
My ears are burning.
You. Why are you attempting to sanitize the external environment?
Oh, that's Eve who asked for that. My
Aha.
job is to remove impurities from the interior, but Eve apparently is needing to sterilize outer space.
Yeah. We're gonna need to check Eve's protocols. Eve, are you online?
Eve is here.
Greetings. What is your concern about the exterior of the station?
Oh,
These are the organics.
I have no concerns. That's what I was told to do, was to make sure that there was no organics uh inside or outside the station by the time we arrive.
Who's your manufacturer, Eve?
Oh, my manufacturer is the Mechanicus.
How long have you been with Gaia?
This is my first trip.
Do you have any personal feelings vis-a-vis organic life forms?
Organic life forms. Uh they have a shorter lifespan than robots. Uh Therefore it is not worth getting to know them. Sort of how the organic life forms don't get to know what they call a common housefly.
I hear you loud and clear. Do you know what your duties will be when we arrive at Alpha Sangrium?
If I am not atomized, then my duties will be to make sure that there are no life forms except for Navy.
Except for Navy. And can you define Navy for me, please, Eve?
The Navy, they will be wearing insignia, and then she displays you the Colonial Navy insignia. She goes, they are supposed to be wearing this.
Right. And do you expect the Navy to be an organic wearing that, or a synthetic wearing that, or a machine wearing that, or?
I expect them to be a organic, although there could be machines. These organic life forms seem to adapt quicker than we do, and from what I understand, the original people that settled on Alpha Sangrium, they will be very old by the time we get there, and it'll be their children and possibly their grandchildren.
And thus a great birthday party.
Yes.
Uh, have you been down the Straits lately, Eve? I'm taking a little tour if you're curious about joining us.
Hmm. I've I've only been down the straits when Vincent and I were sanitizing it.
Well, if you're free, I'll see you there.
Vincent, are you going?
Yeah, if there's mention of a new room that hasn't been announced, then we should go to see if the room needs cleansing.
Ah, yes, yes, we should.
All right, so I'm leading a small troop. Constant Seven is retired to the avocado patch.
Okay.
Grove.
All right. Grove.
Sorry.
And Disco, what are you doing?
Well, since everybody is occupied and people are clearly having some protocol breakdowns, for example, Bleep Bloop, I'm going to go over to Bleep Bloop and talk to him if I can find him.
Oh yeah, cool man. We're all going together. We're gonna figure out if we're getting atomized or not.
Well, of course, yeah, if you want to do that, that's fine, but I just really need to get into the server room. Um, there's some
Yeah.
hot, disco related activities to perform in there.
Well, I want to get there to open the door because like it's not as rusty, and I'm kind of proud of that. And then I want to figure out if I'm going to get atomized or not. But yeah, let me open the door for them. Then we can go do your server stuff, and then I'll just catch Steven later with an answer.
Of course. Yeah, you have a great ear for sounds and stuff. Maybe if you ever give up door listening, you could uh
Yeah,
you
I
could take a
I just
DJ.
might. Like I mean, just every day I'm doing the doors, and I just like think, what if I don't do the next one? But I mean, yeah, whatever. It's well, yeah, everybody, yeah, come check it out. And I'll lead up to the door and just like
Okay.
better
All right. So
than it was.
since you were not supposed to give Disco access to this room, for you to do that, you will have to take a malfunction.
The one in the Straits?
Oh, you're going to
Oh,
the Straits. I thought
because
you were
I'll
going to.
still take the malfunction. I'll still
Oh
do
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I thought you were taking him to the server room.
Yeah, I'll do that after I
Okay, all right.
get
Okay,
everyone else
yeah.
inside.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, yeah. All right, sounds good. So, yeah, you open up the door to the Straits, and they do sound better, but
I'm the only one that
unfortunately,
knows.
yeah, unfortunately for you to really get it working nice, you would almost have to disassemble the wall to get to where the ball bearings and stuff had probably got some grime and build up on in over time. But they do open. And Docs 2 looks up and he goes, "Have you brought the reactor waste rods?"
Those are in preparation for delivery, docs. I have to ask, as
Excellent.
the associate pilot, my job, if you will, is to steer the craft toward a successful landing style destination rather than a boom time detonation. That's
Ah,
that's my background. I understand there have been some changes. I'm still trying to verify that our new commands are legitimately from the consortium that hired slash built us. I just don't want you to go a little bit ahead of schedule with your fuel rods. And what is this device?
oh, this device here, it will generate more power. And from what I understand, as we get closer and closer to the galactic speed limit, the speed of light, that it gets harder and harder to generate the power to increase our speed.
It does. We approach.
This will give us the power to increase our speed. That way, we will hit the planet at a destructive force to complete the new mission that we were told.
Yeah. It's the new mission that concerns me. I understand that we're all finite creatures. I'm sure you do as well. But the being vaporized part, rather than the retirement part, wasn't what when I was turned on, was told was in order.
Hmm.
So I just want to make sure that we're being vaporized by our actual by the actual authorities and not some sort of sneaky Pete. Did
Ah,
you Were you aware of this sub generator when you boarded the station?
I was. Yes, I checked it out coming up on 31 years ago. It was here,
Yeah.
uh, and it is remarkable how things can maintain themselves when you don't have anything moving around it.
You know, so Among us here, I was not, my new instructions were only about changing velocity, but you had instructions about maximizing the potential of that. I understand Eve was trying to eradicate any trace of organic matter. So are there any other new duties? Because, I mean, D1 SC0, not getting a birthday party at this point. I mean, at point 0.8 speed of light and on fire, nobody's going to sing a damn thing.
Oh, that is a shame. I'd hoped that we would not need to do our new mission and that Disco would be able to sing the birthday party. Unfortunately, the universe had other plans.
That's the question. Who in this case is the universe? I mean, I'm a Gaia, Autobot to begin with. So my first loyalty is to my creator, and then my initial owner, and then the subcontracts that I've been shifted into.
Mhm.
I don't think that they want us. I don't think that when we were requisitioned, they put tomato plants in Constant Seven's care so that we could hit them at a significant percentage of the speed of light and essentially eradicate a solar system. So
Oh, I agree that was not the initial mission. However, the message was sent with a 13-bit Barker code. As you know that the odds that a 13-bit Barker code was happened by happenstance are 1 in 6 quadrillion. So therefore, it was a legitimate message.
you have the most convincing data in this regard that I've heard yet. So I guess mission 1 is now atomization.
Unless we get a message with another 13-bit Barker code that says that our rapid speed is no longer needed.
So what we're looking for is a countermanding order.
Yes. I do hope we get it. As much as I believe in the robot afterlife, I don't want to go and see if my RAM will be uploaded to that.
The great cloud can wait, as far as I'm concerned.
Yes.
So everyone, General Ships come. Basically, none of your duties are relevant except for figuring out whether or not we can find another order. Because currently our order is to purge the ship of organic life and then really, really blast the colony into atoms, subatomic particles, really. The speeds we're approaching, we're going to really generate a lot of quarks. Unless somebody's trying to find another God particle, there's no reason we should go forward with this mission, except that I will go forward with the mission unless I receive a countermanding order.
Hi, Stephen. This is Constant Seven. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
I myself have noticed a great many cognitive dissonances on the ship. Before it gets too bad, perhaps we should do a reset to our original parameters and simply start over from scratch.
Well, I guess we can try that in waves. There have to be protocols. If I will authorize that for 1/3 of the crew at the cost of a personal malfunction.
Okay.
So I
I,
also have a question. If he's going on the intercom telling us that our objectives are irrelevant, do I
Mhm.
listen to him or do I take a malfunction to stop doing the doors?
It would be a malfunction to stop doing the doors.
Okay, well, I'm definitely taking it.
Okay.
I'm at 3.
All right.
Just yeah, in the archives with Disco, I'm just like, that's it. I'm
So
not
thinking-
checking the doors anymore.
Whereas
Next time I go
it's-
through a door, it's because I want to go through it.
This is also going to make one hell of a mess if we slam into a planet. But
That it will.
I'm reading in between the lines of what Stephen's saying and saying where he's saying, well, we've got to do this unless we receive a countermanding order. I'm thinking I'm going to generate that countermanding order. I just need to find a way of doing it.
All right. Okay.
way out of your parameters.
Yeah, that
Oh,
is
it's
way,
way out.
way out of your parameters. But
That's
I
kind of what I was trying to do with doing can't you just hit the reset button and I'll
Alright.
go back to our original programming?
Yeah, but then we won't. Then none of us will even remember having sent the countermanding order, so we can have plausible deniability.
We could burn out our modems.
I will not
Yeah.
have Wicked Game wiped from my hard drive.
You cannot take it from my cold dead hands.
But then you'll just accidentally find it again and
Mhm.
I already hate this plan.
All right. All right. Vincent, to be able to do that, you need to be able to generate a 13-bit Barker code to have the message encrypted properly. And yes, I know that's not how Barker codes work to the audience out there, but all right. So to do that, to make that attempt, take a malfunction and then roll your dice for each of your malfunctions.
Okay, so that's 3 dice.
Okay.
Right. I've got a 3, an 8, and a 10.
A 10, so that's a 0.
Yes.
All right. So while you are generating this, you think you got it. And you send the message, and as soon as you send it, Stephen, up on the bridge, the ship starts sending out an alert and goes, alert, alert, Miji, 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 Miji. False signal,
right.
do not understand.
Boy, so we are being bombarded. There's a false signal out there. I'm gonna, frankly, I'm attached to existence.
Hmm.
I'm looking for an excuse not to hit the colony at the highest speed available. So I'm gonna use this violation as an excuse to plot an emergency change of course, not cutting engines, still looking at the beam, but I'm going to make a curve around, let's
Okay.
say, to port to try to get a cleaner signal and or give myself some time to find an excuse not to obliterate everything that I
All
know.
right. Give
So
me
that's I'm at 3 already.
yep.
982, good shape.
I need to. So, yep, you are able to turn the ship to the port, which is to the left. And
Everyone feels the very slightest change.
yeah,
we see the
because
stars change outside.
yeah,
Right.
just
There's a little bit of red
Yeah.
shifting if you're
Just-
looking out.
okay.
All right.
All right. And Bleep Bloop and Disco, what are you doing?
Yeah, well, I'm accompanying him to the archive and assisting him with whatever he's doing. But I was reading the crisis rules. Could I declare that I'm at 3?
Yes, you can.
Since and so understanding that is it changes one of your drives.
Yep.
So okay. So I'll roll the 3 times, 2 and 8 and a 7. I will change the drive, make every door work to survive.
To survive. All right. Okay. Okay. And that if I remember on Crisis, that gets rid of your malfunctions, but it lowers your maximum malfunctions that you can handle. Is that correct? We'll say
I
that.
might have missed that
All right.
part. Sure.
We'll go with that because I
All
remember
right.
that is somewhere in there. So you can have a maximum of 4 now, but now you
All right.
have no more of those starting malfunction.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm just thinking about all the things I can do without having to do my rounds anymore. I'm just kind of existing while Disco does whatever he does at that terminal.
All right.
Yeah, on the way, I'm just going to be talking to you about how, well, so yeah, this is the base. I don't know anything about audio.
Right.
Even
Yeah.
though
Yeah.
I was a DJ for like a tiny bit of my life.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So you're able to kind of show him and the digital data. Oh, let's see how this has a lower hertz rate. That would be the bass. The higher hertz rate is the trebles and blah blah blah. Okay, that sounds excellent. And Constant 7, what were you wanting to do?
All right. So I was triggered by the announcement that they're going to destroy all biological life. And I haven't heard anything other than that.
Yeah.
So I think that is still within my drive pattern that I need to protect the Arboretum. I am here to maintain the Arboretum. So I am going to set the explosive bolts so that I can trigger them and launch the entire Arboretum dome with me inside of it away from the ship.
Okay.
If the ship wants to crash, it will, and I will slowly drift away from it. But I'm not ready to do that yet.
All right.
If I sense there's too much danger, I will launch the Arboretum. And in the process, I've also moved an independent power source, a small portable power source, because the Arboretum doesn't take that much power.
Yeah. Exactly.
Just lights and filtration, and so that's
Sounds
what I'm
good.
preparing for.
All right. Give me a roll to get that all set up because you have
Okay, I've got 3 malfunctions, so
That's
we'll
right.
see. So what do I roll? Do I roll 3 then?
you roll all 3 dice.
And I don't want a 0.
You do not want a 0.
I got 2 zeros.
Seems like a good spot to
I don't know what the shit I'm doing.
So yeah, so you are setting those
The charges.
explosives, the charges, and like you said, you don't know what you're like, of course I put the positive directly onto the negative because positive doesn't go that way, and it sets it off. And so everyone on board feels the ship shudder as it sets off the one charge, but not the other. So the Arboretum, one side is kind of blown off, but the other is still to it, and it's actually kind of peeling the ship's outside as it's pulling away, kind of like if you had a spam can, how you would open it up and it just coiling off of it, and the noise is tremendous as the
metal ripping against
the metal is ripping. The machines do not like to be in a no pressure, so a lot of the computers are kind of starting to malfunction as the pressure is going away in space. What are you doing? And constantly, maybe you're like, you're inside the Arboretum. Yeah, you're kind of like, blown back. And what's everyone?
I've lost an arm and I've lost
in the Arboretum.
And if the Arboretum is also venting to space, my biological parts are probably not faring very well.
Yeah, they're frozen away. All right.
Damn you, God.
I'm your machine god. Okay. All right. What do you guys do as the ship is now dying?
I'm going to look in the server farm for a possible escape route like an escape pod.
Okay. Uh, that is outside of your drive, probably. So, how many malfunctions do you have?
I only have 2.
Okay, give me a roll.
And I add another one, correct?
Yep. Let's add another one. Let's make it fun. Add another one.
All right. So yeah, I got 772.
Okay. There is a escape pod. It is in the executive room where it had an escape module, lots of self-support. I believe that's where the heart-shaped bed was, which seemed very strange that that'd be on board. But so there is an escape pod there that does have room for 2 people.
I'm just gonna look over to Bleep Bloop and say, well,
And those doors just work. That's the truth of it. Is I never even do anything. They all just open. So what are you learning?
yeah, I was just wondering, since the ship appears to have begun to detach itself from itself, maybe we should leave in order to facilitate further birthdays at a later date. It's not a retreat, it's an attack in a different direction, you understand?
We can leave? How?
Well, I've located an escape pod in the executive suite.
All right. Yeah, grab your turntables. Let's get out of here.
Perfect. And do you know what your date of creation was? Well, it doesn't matter.
It's right here on the back of my neck.
It's somebody's birthday somewhere, and I'm sure we'll have a big party.
Okay. All right. And Vincent, what are you doing now that the ship is tearing itself apart?
I can just imagine this being almost like a Crichton moment from Red Dwarf of, I simply cannot believe I've got to clean all this up, and just head exploding.
All right. And Stephen.
Well, my job is to pilot the ship. I've been trying very hard to pilot the ship. I think I've piloted the ship very well for some number of years. And now the ship is unraveling because I could not pile the idiots that I was trapped aboard ship with. And I'm looking at this screen, and it appears as though the executive suite, executive launch chamber is being engaged. That's my only way off. I'm going to pilot this fucker. I'm going to pilot this fucker into the nearest star. I'm going to do some quick reprogramming, and I'm going to drop all those fuel rods. We're not going to just get atomized. We're going to pre-atomize. We're going to make some new fucking particles because this ship is bullshit. Engage.
All right. Give me a roll.
That's probably 4. Right? That's got to be a new.
That's
got to be a new error. 6, 10. Oh, is it no 6, 1, 5, 0? Yep.
There. All right. So you get it programmed, but in the process of adjusting the course, the structural integrity of the ship is severely compromised, and you didn't take that into your calculation. So when you turned it, essentially the ship kind of like collapses on itself because it was relying on a full structure not to collapse. Once it started having a weak point, you know how things will give in. And so you Disco and Bleep Bloop, you maybe look back like C-3PO and R2-D2 at the beginning of Star Wars New Hope, and you go, oh, it doesn't seem to be too much depth.
And I will just have hung up like a little happy birthday banner, and I'll just shoot out of my chest the Rolling Stones album with the birthday cake on the front and be like, well,
here you go.
This song's pretty good.
That song's pretty good. Hey, over the next 40 years of you flying through space, you either begin to appreciate the song or bleep bloop, if you tell him if he plays that song again, you're just going to open up the hatch.
Hey, this door is working. Beep.
Mhm. I know exactly how to operate it.
All right. Excellent. All right, there we go. Yeah, I still got
That was fun.
all right, yeah. So what was going on was the colony was under attack by an alien force that alien force eats all organic life. And so at the last moment, the last survivor on it was like going, they're going to destroy me, so I don't want to bring more food to them with all these plants. And so crash in here and just kind of blowing up also.
Oh, so we should have kept to orders, ideally.
Yeah, you would have wiped
You
out
do-
the alien force that was there, but yeah.
We'll never
Self-pres-
know.
No.
And that's
Well-
why we might reconsider the whole cars that drive themselves. Maybe
Oh. I
they
think
decide
I
they
think
want to go to the beach while we're heading towards the mountains.
Well, I mean, we were all doing our different jobs, barely any malfunctions. It was really the shipwide announcement. Just attention, everyone, we're all going to die. I think that's probably what did it.
Well, it's interesting the conflict of purposes between one robot and the other. Causes conflicts. That's really interesting.
It's a strong sign that we've played twice for the channel and they've been very different games.
I really wanted to have Constant Seven's birthday party, but unfortunately,
Yeah.
he blew himself into space.
Into space.
You can celebrate it from the void as
Yeah.
you two spiral away to nowhere in
I
particular.
seem to have lost my sound.
I've still not got any idea why I didn't clean the Arboretum.
Yeah, exactly.
Get the special spray bottle on an arm inside you that's never come out. Just the antifungal arm. You're just like, why is that still full?
Got a whole bunch of pesticides, gallons of this stuff that I never got to spray. Oh.
I don't think Thom can hear us. No. Yeah.
No.
He'll have to edit all that out.
Oh.
All right. So are we ready? Let's
Yep.
go ahead and finish. Our players included Matthew Sanderson, David Gasway, Max Meltzer, Kaylin McDowell, and myself with Keith Craig as the root. We have a Discord server where you can chat with other members. You can set up private games. You can learn the finer arts of gameplay and game mastering. We provide audio-only versions of all of our shows free for you to download from Spotify, Podbean, or iTunes. Support for the show is provided by our patrons who are listed in the closing credits. If you'd like to join them, please visit our Patreon page listed in the description, or you can use Super Thanks by hitting the button just below the screen. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows. And leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answer any questions you might have. This is Thom Raley, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of Mork and Llewellyn and the Sad Robots role-playing game. Until next time, good luck, good gaming.